But first, let's get into the first topic, man. And we're gonna get to the shits on this. I'm gonna tell you right now. This is trigger alert, trigger warning. The question I have for you, Q, and for the world out there is: Future the best rapper alive right now?
Is Future the best rapper alive right now? Could you clarify, please, Your Honor?
Well, first off, I'm Your Honor. I don't need to clarify anything. But I think you have the wrong person in the courtroom. Listen, the judge don't clarify a damn thing. The decision is the decision. But
True.
I'm gonna do it for you though. So Future, you know, Mr. Hendrix, Pluto.
Yes.
Come on, man. He got a lot of nicknames at this point.
Toxic God.
Toxic King. Mr. Tell Steve Harvey I don't wanna, you know. I mean, come on.
God,
he got a
that's
lot,
the
bro.
greatest line ever.
Listen, he just dropped a new album. You like that line, don't you?
I love that line, man.
Everything
it's so
everybody does.
disrespectful, but
It
it's
is.
like, you know, and he repeated it. Tell Steve Harvey I don't want to. Wow, that tune is so hard.
Yo,
But anyway, go
and he
ahead,
put
sorry.
it in the hook too. That was the hardest part. Well, not the hook,
Yeah,
it was like
that's
the bridge
hard.
or whatever. Yeah,
I like Steve Harvey too. I don't have no beef with Lori Harvey, Steve Harvey.
Me neither, man.
I just thought it was hard, like, you know. But anyway,
Look, man, Future Hendrix just dropped a new album called "I Never Liked You," which I think is a very interesting title. And you and I both heard the album, right? You've heard it, you've reviewed it. You know the album the ins and outs of the album. I think that right now the conversation is starting to swirl around Future, and especially I'll give you guys some more context. GQ put out a article recently that crowned Future as the best rapper alive, and it was written by Elliot Wilson, who also, I believe, he started Rap Radar, like whatever. Anyway. Y'all can go read the article if you want. I'm just letting you know that this is what the world is talking about right now. And I think that we've had a lot of back channel conversations about Future's impact over the years. Who has he influenced? Who has he not? Where does Future rank in your influence meter, your rankings? Is he the best rapper alive? Yes or no?
you know why I'm laughing right now?
What's up?
Is he the best rapper alive right now? Whew, that's a tough one, man. I mean, Drake's a rapper, right? J. Cole's a rapper, right?
Drake is a pop singer. It's like, nah.
Kendrick Lamar's a rapper, right? Big Sean's a rapper, right? So it's like Future, from the rapping skill standpoint, is probably not better from a rapping standpoint. However, from an influential standpoint, he does maybe, arguably, trumps all those people from an influential standpoint. So the question of, is he the best rapper alive right now? I would say he's more so the hottest rapper right now. And there was several things. So first and foremost, you know why I was laughing a little bit or smiling a little bit while you were talking? You know why? Because do you know how many times I am right on this on this show? I say certain things. You guys look at it and you poo-poo it like Stephen A. and all them people say. You poo-poo the stuff I say. Remember episode whatever, 50-something, I don't know, 60-something.
Uh-huh.
I said, yo, Lil Wayne and Future, who's more influential? I said Future. Everybody was coming at me like, yo, Lil Wayne, blah, 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 blah. This is ridiculous. Don't look as ridiculous, does it anymore, huh? Don't look as ridiculous no more, does it? All right, but anyway, I'll let that go.
I actually do remember. I do remember that.
You remember that, right?
I said Wayne. I said
Yeah,
Wayne.
yeah. Doesn't it look a lot closer to Future these days?
Look.
It does. It
was
does.
I'm gonna tell you right now. And I'm gonna let you go real quick.
Mm-hmm.
It's debatable.
I don't think it's debatable
It's
anymore.
debatable, bro.
I don't think it's debatable anymore. You know, and I'll explain why.
Keep going. I don't want to interrupt too much. I'm just saying it's debatable.
I don't think it's debatable. I don't think it's debatable anymore. So Future, it's Future's lifestyle, right? first and foremost, Future's lifestyle is so interesting. You know, when we were talking to our homegirl, right, the other day, she said, I don't really follow Future, but like understanding that when he was with Sierra, I kind of got a chance to know who Future was, you know? So I think women, you know, understand who Future is. People that are not even his music fans, like, understand who he is because, you know, the stuff he's done in the past. Linked to Sierra, linked to Lori Harvey. You know, there's Future has been quoted in several different things, and at the end of the day, like, he's more than just the music. He's kind of a symbol of your bachelor 30-year-old man that we all are familiar with, and for women they actually deal with. So from that sense, they know who he is. From a music standpoint, I think if we can argue that trap music is the biggest subgenre of hip hop right today. You hear trap music on commercials, you hear it used in pop music, etc., etc. Well, if trap music is the biggest genre in music today, who is the number one trapper in the game? I don't think that's arguable. It's Future. Future is the number one trap artist in hip hop history. I'm gonna go in hip hop history. Kudos to Gucci Mane, kudos to Jeezy, kudos to whoever you want to say, Thugger, T.I., whatever. Future is number one trap artist in the history of hip hop. I can argue that trap music is the biggest subgenre hip hop has ever had. I can argue that. Will I be wrong? I don't know. But I can argue that. So there's several titles that Future can say he's held. And now Future is actually his record, his album, his first week sales. Do you know what's supposed to be the highest in hip hop this year? His first week sales? He's supposed to sell 150K to 170K. Doesn't sound like a lot these days. I mean, back then it don't sound like a lot, but these days that's a lot. That's a lot. So he's selling.
Well, let's be very clear. That's until Kendrick Lamar drops. But keep going.
I mean, obviously it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, you got to throw that in there.
So Future is selling, right? With not much pub. Future is one of the only artists that, like, who has beef with him? Like, NBA YoungBoy pays homage to Future. Dirk pays homage to Future. Gucci Mane. Young Thug is like, that's his idol. Like, Future is a legendary classic figure that is still doing his thing, and that, you know, at this moment, I think the biggest point is he has his fingernails. He has his imprint on hip hop. Hip hop goes as far as Future goes. The moment Future retires and no longer has influence in hip hop, we don't know where it's gonna go. And so, will I say I wouldn't say he's the greatest rapper alive right now, but I would say he's the most important rapper in hip hop today. Future.
Okay. For those of you guys listening, I nodded my head in agreement for the vast majority of stuff you was talking about. Listen, you make some valid and great points. And actually, I like how you landed. I do. I really like how you landed where you ended off, because important is your key word. I'll go with another word that starts with I. Influential. Because, look, man, for everything that you just said, I got to use the word influential. I have to, because, you know, it's okay. So let me back up, man. Future, right? He dropped his the album The Wizard. I don't know if you remember that album. What was it? 2-3 albums ago, called The Wizard. Well, along with that album came a documentary, right? He was giving backstory about where he was in life. Thought it was pretty good, pretty well-produced documentary. It had a whole bunch of people vouching for Future's greatness. One particular person stood out to me, and that was Andre 3000. Andre 3000 was on that documentary talking about how he and his son love Future, and that he said, and I quote, "Future makes the most negative, inspirational music ever." This is what Andre 3000 said. I couldn't help but to be like, damn, yo, like that's one of the best compliments, the backhanded compliments I've ever heard in my life. Like, wow, like he is right on the money. And so from a lifestyle standpoint, from a content standpoint, everything Future brings to the table, the drug references, the womanizer references, the toxicity and his songwriting and what he brings to the table is so accurate. You can really see Future's fingerprints and traces all throughout hip hop right now. So from an influence standpoint and impact, Future 100% is up there, if not number one. And even I would argue, musically speaking, what he's been able to do over trap beats, the melody, the singing, the giving you the pain, giving you the pop and bottle, giving you the lifestyle aspect, bro. I think everybody out here is trying to emulate Future. To be honest with you, at this point, and so, you know, going back to my original question, is Future the best rapper alive right now? You know, to me, the real question is, what does best mean? When I hear the word best, to me, I think of impact. I think of influence. I think of what are the artists, what are the rappers out right now that everybody is looking at as the guy, but who is their rapper? You know how people say, I'm your favorite rapper's favorite rapper? Well, guess what? The majority of y'all favorite rappers right now, I'm talking about rappers, they look up to Future. They say Future is the OG. Future is the godfather of what is being done right now. So from that standpoint, for him to be the godfather but still be active, putting out albums in today's climate and it resonating, bro, he has a very strong case for being the best rapper right now. He really does. Like, I'm trying to be objective about this. We can go back and forth about some of these other people like Cole, Drake, Kendrick, some of these other dudes out here, Travis Scott. The list is very long, right? But impact-wise, who has been trying to emulate Future? I think that is really where you see Future's impact. Because let's be honest, some of these other dudes are godfathers in their own right. I hear a lot of people who sound like Cole, maybe not the amount of Future. I hear some people who try to emulate what Kendrick does, maybe not to his greatness or maybe not to the extent. You know, I hear some people who try to sound like Travis Scott throughout the years. You know, there are people who are influencing other rappers too, but I think Future in particular has the crown as far as influence and impact. I mean, would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, I like you said, if you actually pay attention, I want to say this. You know, we're not going to get to talk about this topic because I think we just scrapped it at the end at the last minute. But if you actually think about how much music me and you consume and how much we actually know about what we're talking about. So like when we come out and say certain stuff, like we ain't just pulling it out the ass and we ain't trying to do it for shock value, right? We actually know because we've done research. We've heard music, probably more than most people. When I tell you in my research of artists, I personally work on Submit Hub, right? Submit Hub is a place where, you know, check us out on Submit Hub, by the way. On Submit Hub, we get new artists, all of this stuff that you know, asks us to look at their music and stuff. When I tell you majority of the hip hop artists, their influence, it varies. Juice WRLD's on there. Future is always on there. Future. People in the hip hop community look up to Future more than anybody else I've seen. Lil Wayne had a moment where a lot of people were rapping like Lil Wayne and that's his influence. But it's one thing to actually listen to Lil Wayne and actually like what he's doing as opposed to saying, I want to be this guy. Here is who I aspire to be. And I think Future is somebody that a lot of people aspire to be. So I'm going to say something that might go over you guys' head, but please take it, right? So to me, with Future, right? Future to me is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Right now, people are calling Giannis Antetokounmpo the best NBA player in the world. Kevin Durant is like the Drakes and the Kendrick and Mars and the J. Cole's of the world. Kevin Durant is capable of putting up shots that your average person can't put up. However, Giannis Antetokounmpo is a workhorse that is super talented that just grinds his way to success. Future, I say that to say this. Future's work ethic is impeccable. Future's gauge of the game, the hip hop game. I was just looking while you were talking. I was looking at all the collaborative albums that he's done. He's done a collaboration album with Drake. He's done a collaboration album with Juice WRLD.
I was about to get
He's done
into
a
that.
collaboration album with Lil Uzi Vert. He's done a collaboration album. It's like, and every single time you hear Future, right? He just fits in. What does that tell you? Future just fits. Like, it doesn't matter where you put it. Future fits on anything. He's on so many guest features, and you're just like, oh, Future's on the song. He fits it. As opposed to, let's say, to me, I don't want to be negative or anything, but let's say like a J. Cole, right? J. Cole has a bunch of guest features, right? As of late, he's been killing guest features.
Yep.
But every time I hear J. Cole on a song, I'm like, oh, damn, J. Cole's on the song. Oh, hell yeah, J. Cole killed it. He doesn't necessarily mesh with what the song is, right? Because you're so used to him doing his own thing. When he steps outside of the box, you're like, damn, J. Cole, he sounds really good when he steps outside of the box.
Yeah.
Every single style of hip hop, Future has done. Every single style of hip hop, Future could fit. What that tells me is hip hop, where hip hop is today, was helped molded by Future. He helped mold it. Hip hop wouldn't
100%.
sound like hip hop today if it wasn't for Future. That's
got it.
essentially what I'm trying to say.
You're 100% on the money, and like even people that you don't even associate with trap music have over the years have tried to steal the sound. You know, and when I say steal, I mean I should say steal, utilize it for their benefit, whether it's Beyonce, whether it's Jay-Z. You know, they've gotten over they've rapped over trap songs. They've been a part of these types of these type of ways, because I think Future's biggest crowning achievement, and you kind of opened with this to a degree, is the fact that a subgenre of hip hop, aka trap, has become the most popular subgenre of the overall genre we're talking about, which is hip hop. That right there tells you everything you need to know. And who is at the forefront of that? It's Future. He's the one who ushered in this sound when this particular sound, whether it's, we go back to his collaboration with YC with Racks on Racks, right? Back when we heard Future featured, at least me, I'll speak for myself, I heard Future featured for the first time, had no idea who this guy was. I always liked that song, but I didn't realize that Future was the one who was making that song hot. When I found out that Future was the one on that hook, it was no coincidence that right after that, he dropped the Pluto album, and he was gone. He was out of here ever since. Pluto, yep. I mean, you name it. He's dropped album after album, impacted the world. Like you said, the collaboration projects, it goes on and on. And I'm going to tell you right now, people can talk all they want, and they have a valid argument, a.k.a. Andre 3000, 3 Stacks. Valid argument to question the substance of the music, right? What is the takeaway? Has the music impacted the world for the better or for the good? That's a whole different discussion, okay? If we're going on that discussion, I have a lot of negative things to potentially say about Future. But if we're just talking about who has impacted the genre, bro, Future's the guy. Future's the guy. I'm sorry. Take it or leave it, guys.
And I know the typical person's like, oh, what about measurements? I'm looking at his catalog. Do you know he's on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 album streak of number 1, debuting number 1? 7. Did you know that? I actually didn't know that. Every album he's dropped since DS2, since Honest was the last album he dropped that did not go number 1.
And I love that joint.
Yeah, and he was just starting out.
One of my
he was
favorite,
just starting out. He was just starting out at that time, right? So here's another kicker. every album he's dropped has gone at least gold.
Hey,
Literally every album he's dropped has gone at least gold.
Can I say this for the record? Just for the record.
Mm-hmm.
For the record. This is how important Future is, okay? This is how I'm going to tell you how important Future is, in my personal opinion. DS2 is arguably arguably one of the top or most important albums in hip-hop history.
It is.
Period.
It is.
Okay?
It is.
Now, I know people think of Illmatic. People think of, Life After Death. People, you can think of Biggie's albums. You can think of all these people from back in the day. Kendrick, To Pimp a Butterfly, this, that, and the third. I'm going to tell you right now, DS2 is probably a top 10 most important hip-hop album throughout the existence of hip-hop. Now, go chew on that, guys.
I wholeheartedly agree.
If you think I'm wrong,
I wholeheartedly agree.
Go do your Googles.
I can argue it is the most important because what he was able to do on there, I think it shifted it made the world uncomfortable. I think the greatest in whatever field they are in, when you make somebody uncomfortable with what your approach is, I think that's a level of greatness. I think that he is so unapologetically who he is. He's forcing you to digest music about drugs, womenizing, all this stuff. He does it so great and it's so normal now. But like, we had to learn to be uncomfortable, be comfortable being uncomfortable listening to his stuff. And I think that's kind of a sign of greatness from his part because it kind of championed the sound that like, wow, that's kind of going left field. But so I do want to bring this part of the topic up. I recently heard on a song by Future, he said he's bigger than Jay-Z in the streets. Are we going that far? Do we think Future has trumped Jay-Z when it comes to influence on the hip hop and the street community?
Woo! Look, man, listen, everything we just said about Future, to me, I believe to be 100% true. And I'm going to just tell you this, whether you guys like it or not, Future has a point. He may have a slight argument. And I don't want the waters to get muddied. I don't want y'all to conflate certain ideas. Nobody is talking about the substance. Nobody's talking about the character of the music. Nobody's talking about the rapping ability, whether it's metaphors, this, that, and the third. We talking impact. We're talking impact, guys. I gotta keep saying that. If we keep it to that, how do you measure impact? For me, you know how I measure impact? How many people resonate with your music? How many women love it? How many men love it? How many rappers who do the same thing want to be like you? How many rappers emulate your style? How many rappers want to work with you? They look at you and say, you're the guy. They pay homage at every respect, right? Streets to me imply a whole different thing. So I'm not part of the street life, but I'm gonna say this, man. Like if we just talking about who the people in the inner cities, who the people who are abreast to what trap music has become, who are abreast to the state of trap music and how big of a subgenre that shit has become just over the years, then I think Future may have an argument to say he's bigger than Jay. Now, let's be clear. I want to be fair. I want to be very fair. Because we're forgetting Jay-Z's damn near 60, right? How old is Jay-Z at this point, man? Bro, isn't he like 57? How old is this guy? I mean, like,
He's like 56. He was born 1969. So
okay.
He's 53.
Okay, fair enough. So what I don't want us to do is have revisionist history, right? I know you have a problem with this too. You wanted to bring that up.
52.
He's 52.
Sorry,
okay.
52, because his birthday is December 4th, I believe. See, I'm not even looking at anything. I just know from his music. That's how much of a Jay-Z fan I am. So
Yo, bro.
don't think I'm just trashing Jay-Z. But anyway.
Let me tell you some of the key and pivotal things that Jay-Z has brought to the game, right? Number one, for me, there's probably a Jay-Z bar for every aspect in life. Like, literally, you could probably look at Jay-Z's lyrics, and he has probably spoke on something that can relate to something in your life that will help you progress forward. That's number one. Number two, this is what nobody talks about. The aspect of not writing your lyrics. I don't know if people remember this, but Jay-Z popularized that. The freestyling off the top, not writing down your lyrics.
He did.
Pivotal contribution to hip hop, because after Jay did it, Lil Wayne was probably the next best person who kind of coined it and said, I'm doing it. And what have we seen ever since that? Everyone
does it.
Everyone says, yo, I don't write my rhymes. Man, I just freestyle, go in the booth, this, that, and the third. Bro, that's straight from the backs of Jay-Z. Jay-Z was the guy who did that. Let's not forget. I know people are not going to remember that, but I got to say that in there.
Talent-wise, Jay-Z's the greatest rapper I've ever seen. Like,
sheer talent.
I think from a talent standpoint, from a intellectual standpoint, Jay-Z is probably the smartest MC I've ever heard in my life. Like, some of the things he was saying in his music, like, you had to re-listen to it a couple times to like really get it. Like, you know, and he has multiple, you know, punchlines that like are meaningful, are deep, and what he has stood for from a business standpoint is unmatched. What Jay-Z has done from a business standpoint for the hip hop community and for just the black community in general, unmatched. But the beautiful thing about that comment about, you know, Future claiming he's bigger than Jay-Z in the streets is that the streets don't care about that. The streets don't care about punchlines and meaningfulness. That's the beautiful thing about it. It's like, think about the term street ball. Street ball is synonymous with, we're not calling those stupid fouls. We're not going to over here and care about, you know, like, you know, travels as much. Like, this ain't the NBA. You know what I mean? When you talk about street ball, this is street ball. It's different rules. It's rougher. It's more careless. It's carefree. We don't care. That's what I think Future is referring to. In the streets. Streets is not business. And in the streets, what do the streets care about? Streets care about, you know, the men in the streets care about women. They care about beats that knock. They care about songs they can feel. They care about stuff they can relate to. They care about popping bottles. And Future has embodied that. Future is one of the biggest street dudes that probably has money out the wazoo. Like, Future is influential to a standpoint in the streets that I don't think Jay-Z is. I'm just being real. I'm just being honest from a street standpoint, right? And I'm gonna go a step further. There was a comment that I guess Jay-Z said nobody can beat him in a verses, and Future said that I can beat Jay-Z in a verses, and everybody wanted to give uproar. I'm telling you right now, put it on wax. We may never get a Jay-Z interview ever again, but hey, whatever, or ever. We may not get a Jay-Z.
You said
I'm telling
again.
you right now, we're never gonna get one ever. I'm telling you right now, Future would wax Jay-Z. Are you kidding me? Future versus Jay-Z in a versus battle, and I love Jay-Z. I love Jay-Z. I love him. Like, tell people how many times when we were younger how much I love Jay-Z. Like, me and my brother, like, we love Jay-Z. But I'm telling you right now, in a versus battle, which is clearly more like street influence, it's no business to a versus battle. If we're talking about a street-inspired versus, Future is waxing. It's not close. But I don't think anybody's beating Future in a versus, honestly. Honestly, I don't see anybody beating Future.
I think Future's tough, man. He's tough. To be honest with you, I'm throwing Wayne in the mix. I think Wayne has a solid. He has a shot. He has a solid chance for that to be a 10-round bout. Like, that ain't gonna be no wash at all. Let's be very clear. No wash.
Future, bruh. Let me tell you something. I'm just gonna say,
slept on. Future super slept on.
I'm just gonna say right now.
Discography wise.
You know how Jeezy, people claim Jeezy beat Gucci Mane. Jeezy really beat him off of like Thug Motivation 101. Like Thug Motivation 101 is really what like had Gucci Mane having a battle, uphill battle. If DS2 is ever used in a versus battle, bruh, thought it was a drought?
Man. Bro, come on.
Dog.
Yeah. Look.
Trap niggas effing up some commas?
Yeah,
Real sisters?
I'm gonna tell you right now.
March Madness? Come on, man.
Look, bro.
Come on.
To be honest with you, I will not agree with that statement. Ain't nobody washing. He's not washing Jay-Z, okay? Like, calm down. Okay? Calm the fuck down, all right? I'm gonna say that respectfully. Chill out. You wildin'. I gotta bring you back, okay?
Wait, Washington. Okay,
but here's
Washington to me means they only won by 2 points. At
that's
least
not
they
a
just
wash.
won.
Hell nah. Yo, hey, listen. If somebody beats, okay.
No, I'm wildin'. I'm wildin'. He ain't washing him.
Yo,
He
chill
ain't
out.
washing him.
Listen,
I got my money on him.
this is not what this is about because they're never gonna do a versus. It won't happen. But you know what? Hey, maybe we can do a fake versus. I'll represent Jay-Z. I'll be
And
Jay-Z.
I represent Future.
You represent Future, and we can see what that even looks like. No
Okay.
wash will exist.
But I like Jay-Z more than you. Let
do.
me represent Jay-Z.
Okay, all right, do that then.
And I'm still gonna think I'll be like, yo, hey, we gotta pull out the stops on this one. Damn. I
Yo.
freaking wiping sweat off my face. Cause I truly, but I'm no cap. Like,
But
I
here's
truly
the thing.
believe that.
But here's the thing. To me, and I last thing I'll say, I think we need to. I think we should move on. It's apples and oranges, bro. It's apples and oranges. There's a reason why when they do versus battles or just any type of competition,
It's similar people.
it has to be similar type of music. To me, that we can't have a damn Waka Flocka versus Questlove. Like what kind of shit versus freaking Black Thought?
Yeah, but
Like, what?
when-
but that
when
don't
you-
even make sense. Like it doesn't
When
make
you
sense.
when you reach to a certain level of greatness, I think you can.
It
When
still
you get
has-
to a certain level of greatness, it's no coincidence that they're comparing Lawrence Taylor to Tom Brady. They're two completely different eras, two completely different positions, but they compare them. They're like, who's the greatest NFL player of all time? Tom Brady, Lawrence Taylor. But for people that have not reached that level of greatness, I'm never going to compare Cam Jordan to freaking, to freaking Carson Wentz or something. Like, nah, it doesn't even make sense.
Nah,
But like when you get to a level of greatness, it's fair game, I think.
That's
for
fair.
comparisons.
That's fair. It's tough for me, man, because like impact of the music, it hits different. But hey, man, listen, I don't know, man. If you really up for that versus, man, we could try to do that. I think that would be
that'd be
hella
fun.
interesting. That would be very entertaining.
We will not be using verses with the user. Our lawyers all rights reserved.
Yeah, hella disclaimers. Yo, let's keep it moving.
All right.